In the minds of politicians and people of Western countries, the celebration of May the 9th is not a common victory. It is no coincidence that the West would like to forget the lessons of the Second World War as soon as possible. It's unpleasant to recall your own history of close cooperation with the Nazis. United Europe supplied the Nazis with everything they needed: raw materials, weapons, equipment, volunteers. It's unpleasant for the French and the Czechs to remember that their siege guns and armed vehicles shelled Leningrad and Sevastopol, killed starving Soviet children and women. Renault, Peugeot and Citroën products made up a fifth of the Wehrmacht motor fleet. The compliant Czechs produced 25% of all German tanks, trucks and 40% of small arms. Little Austria has made a significant contribution to strengthening Germany's military power. Romania provided 3/4 of Germany's oil needs throughout the war. Spain regularly shipped petroleum products. Sweden supplied Germany with iron ore and steel. Neutral Switzerland supplied precision instruments to the German military industry and serviced the bank accounts of high-ranking Nazis. Belgium, the Netherlands, Norway, Denmark, Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia don't like to recall the defeat of National SS volunteer units. The Balts want to forget about the punitive operations of their volunteer collaborators of Hitler as soon as possible. It's inconvenient for Croats to remember about concentration camps for Serbs, Jews and Gypsies, and for Finns to recall concentration camps for Russians. Proud Frenchmen try to avoid questions about why there were many times more Frenchmen in the Wehrmacht and SS than in the resistance movement. Why did the Red Army destroy more enemy soldiers and officers during the defense of Pavlov's house in Stalingrad than the Nazis lost during the capture of Paris? There are many things that one would like to forget and do it as soon as possible. It's unpleasant to realize that the fate of humanity was decided not in the United States or in European capitals, but during the grand battles of the Red Army near Moscow and Leningrad, Stalingrad and Kursk, and the heavy battles from Murmansk to the Caucasus and Crimea. For the West, there is nothing much to tell about their exploits. There were no millions of partisans and underground fighters, heroic pioneers, mass courage and perseverance here. There were no Matrosovs, Gastelovs, Panfilovs, Maresyevs, Kosmodemyanskis. There were no unconquered Brest fortresses, blockaders and Stalingraders. Therefore, they agreed to forget about the Munich Agreement. That's why the word "the Second World War victory fanaticism" was coined. Therefore, Victory Day is being cancelled and Soviet symbols are being banned in order to take away people's pride and joy for this unprecedented feat of Soviet people. On May the 9th, the winners celebrate and the losers are ashamed. They are ashamed and trying to erase their shameful deeds and assistance to fascism from the general memory. The most powerful and brutal blows of the Nazis were taken by the Soviet people who stood up and won. Nazism was crushed despite the long-standing reluctance of the United States and Great Britain to open the Second Front. By the time the Allies landed in Normandy in 1944, 3.5 times more German divisions were deployed against the Red Army than against the United States, Great Britain and France combined. Nearly all Europe fought and worked on Hitler's side. Our victory over Germany is not only the victory of the Red Army, but also the victory of the Soviet economy over fascist Germany and its satellites. Eternal memory to the immortal soldiers who fell fighting for their homeland. Glory to the home front workers.